Hi, Stefan. Hi, everyone.
Hi, TB.
I think we're already live. I can see the live there. So, hi, everyone. See, we're having already 20 people. So let's wait for maybe for another 1-2 minutes.
So we are 20. Shall we start? So I think we give it a go. So welcome everybody to this exciting webinar today, where actually TB and I, we want to show you how you can actually start developing your own AI applications, your own AI automations, without becoming an AI expert. So still doing your very bespoke AI features. Maybe let me introduce myself quickly to you. I'm Stefan. I'm one of the co-founders of Apaleo. I'm the CTO. That means I'm taking care of product and tech in Apaleo. My background is engineering. I've been in travel and hospitality tech for the last, it's now 16 years or so. And actually, I once worked at a university in fundamental research quite a while ago in AI back then. And I'm very excited to see now how AI is actually gaining traction in many industries. We're all using that for our private purposes. Who doesn't use ChatGPT? And now it's also getting a lot into the businesses. There's a lot going on. There's also a lot of blah, blah, and uncertainty. So we are all asking ourselves, how can I use this also for my business? What is the best way to start working with AI? Is there a chance for me to actually make this as a competitive advantage for myself? What are the prerequisites for using AI in my hospitality company? And today we actually try to make this a bit tangible for you. We want to show you that how you can actually implement AI on Apaleo, on the API first platform Apaleo, in an easygoing way. And I'm happy to also introduce TB to you. TB is from the company Make It Future. He is founder and CIO of that company, and he also leads the AI team in Make It Future.
Hi,
That means
everyone.
also he has an AI team ready. And maybe TB just use a minute or so to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, everyone. I'm TB, Tiberius Okac. I'm the CEO of Make It Future, and we are an automation company. We'll go a bit about that a bit later. But we in the last 1.5 year, since AI with OpenAI started to be a lot more popular, we've put a lot of effort into understanding how can we use AI in business and how can AI be applied to different processes and process automation. So yes, that's why we're here to show you what we've learned and how we think it can apply apply as well to hotel operations.
Mhm. And just to add this, TB and his team, they have the skills also to implement AI also for your property. And they have a quite interesting reference client. So TB, you are currently implementing AI features for easy hotels, correct?
Yeah, we're working with different hotel
Mhm.
companies. I'm
Mhm.
honestly speaking, I'm not working directly with Easy Hotel, so I don't know exactly if that's the one we're working on AI. But yes, I can. If you want, I can follow up on that um, and yeah, showcase it.
Very nice. So let's jump a bit into this. Maybe we also give you a bit of a short introduction about the technologies that are in place today. So let me share a few words on Apaleo for those who are not running, who not do not run their hotels on Apaleo yet. Apaleo is a cloud-based API-first property management platform for hospitality. And it's actually, you could say, It's a new approach to the traditional PMS, which makes it much more flexible to cope with innovations, as for instance, AI is, right? And the way how we achieve that with Apaleo, that you can so easily play around with technologies and implement new things, new processes, workflows, automations, new applications on Apaleo, is because we apply what you call a so-called API first approach to Apaleo. What does API first mean? API first means that anything you can do on Apaleo, creating a reservation, changing a price, setting a room from dirty to clean, even opening a new property or shutting a property down, creating users and all of that, checking a guest in, charging the credit card of a guest, everything can be done via a public API. That means, and for those who don't know what an API is, APIs are actually small interfaces that external applications, automations, extensions can actually work on your property and do things, right? And there are several ways how you can do this. You can build your tech stack by, for instance, going to the Apaleo store and connect all the applications, the ready-made applications that you need for a property, revenue management, mobile guest journey, finance systems, door lock, room control, marketing tools, you name it. But you can also use tools like make.com, which are independent products, has nothing to do with Apaleo, but you can use make.com on Apaleo to implement small automations for your property using, again, the Apaleo APIs. And of course, we all know OpenAI. OpenAI is the company who launched ChatGPT not too long ago. This OpenAI and ChatGPT also will play an interesting role in our webinar today, because TB will show you how you can, in the combination of Apaleo, make.com, and OpenAI ChatGPT, how you can use those three to actually on the fly build your own AI applications, your own AI automations on Apaleo. And I think, TB, now
Yeah.
the time comes to
Just
switch over to you, what you want to discuss today.
yeah, just to add a few points on your on Apaleo and make, because Apaleo is API first. That's why we, as a company, together for some of our customers, we were able to integrate and do a lot of different things like booking confirmation automation and reconciliation automation and so on, because Apaleo is API first, and we are able to use tools like Make, which is the middleware API, to go and connect to Apaleo, get all the details, put some more logic to it, right? And then get the result out of it, right? So being an API first company, it's extremely important nowadays to be able to use these kind of automations.
Mhm.
Okay, so let me give a bit of a background here. We've started, as I said, about 1.5 years ago, looking at, okay, how can we use, as an automation company, how can we also use AI into these processes, right? And we started working actually on one of our customers, which is a coffee company, and we developed some AI for that company, and we integrated with Make and some processes. And we've reached out to Apaleo, to Stefan, and to his team to see, okay, can we bring this as well to the hotel industry? Are there use cases for the hotel industry, right? So that's why we come up with this presentation webinar, because we do believe there are a lot of cases where you can use AI in the hotel industry. And we put together some slides here, some presentation with even a mock-up hotel. You see here, there's on this slide, there's a Make It Future hotel there, to showcase what we believe is the future of AI in connection with the hotel industry. And we're looking forward to see real, I would say, hotel customers that want to really achieve this in their operations. So why
And
do we
maybe,
believe?
if you allow me to add there, what we see today are things that you can actually do on your own, right? You actually do not necessarily need to hire or work with companies like Make It Future. You can do this on your own. I mean, this is something you actually repeat that at home, right?
Yeah.
That's the claim of today.
Yeah, that's the nice part of these tools like Make. Everybody can really do it. Um, so why do we believe AI chatbots are important for the hotel industry, right? So it can offer a 24/7 support. So it's very scalable, right? You can apply that to as many bookings, to as many hotels as you want. Very easy to scale.
Mhm.
It can get the data through API directly from Apaleo. Things like booking information, invoicing, room availability, uh, clean rooms, and so on, right? So you can access the data and automate as you need, and have an internal or external chatbot for the company. Um, you can make modifications through API directly to user booking as well. So practically, on most of the AI systems out there, you just have a way to access data from the company. So you upload some files towards your, let's say, an AI. It goes to its training, and then you get answers from that information. The nice thing about Make is that you can also create actions. So you're able to do modifications. You're able to create new bookings. You're able to cancel bookings or things like that.
Mhm.
Any operation that you can do today manually inside Apaleo, that action can be done by API. So it can be done in a combination with AI and Make in this case.
Mhm. TB, if you allow me again to add, so for today we actually chose an example use case. It's the AI chatbot for guests, right? We chose that
Yes.
because every hotelier immediately gets what that does. It's a very popular thing. It's like you implement the booking engine. But this is only an example. We're not talking about chatbots for guests today. We are talking about an architecture, how you can actually develop arbitrary AI applications that read data from upper layer, but also influence business process, write data back and trigger processes and so on. And this is just an example.
Yes, exactly. Okay, thank you. So for to go ahead with the example, right? So we have here, you see, and we're gonna do a demo a bit later. You have here a chat interface on a website, on a hotel website, where you can start a conversation, or a user can start a conversation, customer, with the chat. So how does it really work? We have an AI chatbot. We have the user comes in, it clicks on the chat widget. It could be on the website. The nice thing, it could be as well on a WhatsApp or an SMS group, or whichever channel you might want to connect to it. The user will message the assistant. The AI agent will get that message. It will go into this decision making. So then the AI will decide, does it have the information to reply back to the user? Or if it doesn't have the information, it will go towards either a function. So that's where Make and Apaleo comes in place, right? So we create different functions for getting booking information, creating bookings, canceling bookings, sending an email with an invoice, and so on, right? So you can imagine there's unlimited cases or unlimited functions that we could create. There is another database that you can add on top of an AI, like it's called a retrieval augmented generation, RAG. So if you have files, you can also add files into that database, and then the
Does that mean you can
AI
actually also
agent, or
you, you would you would upload information that you already have in place in your hotel, like procedures, concierge information, and things like that? You could also simply upload.
yes, you could upload those files directly into the assistant. Things like, even like frequently asked questions,
Mhm.
right? Because I guess every hotel might have a list of questions that uh, come up a lot. So then you could upload that into the assistant, and the assistant will know how to answer for those questions. So practically, you're adding some training there to the assistant, some additional information, right? And then once the assistant gets this additional information, it goes back into this decision making. It will consider that it has this information, and then replies back to the user. Okay. So again, very easy to scale. It gets a personalized customer experience, right? Because every person will get its own information from the API. So you get the answers, and you get the actions towards your own reservations. Um, very useful for hotels for automating their repetitive tasks. So I will go a bit in more details on how this really works. So practically, we have this. live connections, which we call AI functions, which connects to additional information by a Paleo API, or for that matter, could connect to any third-party apps that you might use in the business, right? In our case, we're using Make as the middleware. Make has about 1,800 different applications, right? So if you want to connect also to another I don't know, invoicing platform, or to another ERP, or to another to
CRM.
Stripe, or
Yeah.
Booking, or Booking.com, or CRM, or whichever other platform you might want to get details from, you can also involve that information, right? And
I
then
think you could even connect it to like Google Docs, right? For instance, creating automatically rows in Excel sheets or reading from documents and things like that.
for sure. Um, and then we have the hotel specific knowledge, which we said, like we just mentioned, frequently asked questions, procedures that you have inside, which gets uploaded automatically into the database, into a vector database. Okay, so how this really works? Functions. So you have these live connections. You can connect to a wide variety of chat systems. You can connect to Slack. You can connect it to Teams. You can connect it to Telegram, WhatsApp, HubSpot. Are just some chat examples that we've been using. It could connect to any chat system that supports an API, right? If you have a messaging system that supports an API, it can be connected to that. We use, in this case, we use ChatGPT, OpenAI, Assistant API functions for live data and for the decision making. So as the LLM model, um, we can get the data, as we said, to about 2,000 application. And the nice part about using Make is we can create actions for this assistant, right? And the beauty of Make, because it's a no-code platform, you can also very easily swap this application, right? If you decide you want to change your like payment provider, or you want to change your CRM, you just swap those modules with the new SaaS application, and you update the scenario for that. So how does this look like? We have you see these red circles there with the different logos. Those are called applications or module inside Make. The way it works, you add these modules one by one, you connect it together, and that's the automated workflow that we're doing, right? So in our case, we have a webhook system, which is a link towards which the the chat system sends the request. And then we have a module for OpenAI, which where the assistant practically analyzes the request and comes up with an answer. And then we send the response back to the chat system. And then you're seeing a little below, you see this function. So in our case, we have a function for getting booking information or sending an email. And then you see there are two additional scenarios which are powering those functions. Very simple scenarios, right? One is just again a webhook, because it is just the way we send the request towards that function. Then we have an Apaleo module that's getting the additional information about the booking. So it will just get that information and respond back to it.
Mm. Thierry, if
And
I
the
may add, so
scenario,
this of course looks a bit technical, but actually what you
yes,
have to do is actually what you really see here on that screen. So there is no real coding or something required, but you just need to connect those different steps of workflows and systems together as we see it here on the screen. So that's actually what you really do in make.com to connect Apaleo and what we see later with ChatGPT and all these other systems together, then to have some AI generated workflows, correct?
correct. It might look a bit technical. In reality, I really recommend any of you go to make.com, create a trial account, play with it for a few hours, and you're going to see that actually uh, connecting to Apaleo is very fast. You can use this for these AI automations that we're suggesting here, but at the same time, if you want to do an export from your Apaleo reservation towards like a Google Sheets because you just want a report, very easy, very fast to do as well. And then just to finish this slide, we have a secondary scenario here, which is called send invoice, where we get the parameters of the function, which is like the email address and the booking ID. And then we get those the information that needs to be sent towards the email. In this case, we use Gmail as the email provider, and then we send the email and respond back to the system, right? Maybe to give a bit more understanding, the way we configure these functions, we do that on the assistant on on the website of OpenAI, and I will show you live on that OpenAI Apaleo assistant. You're able to select the definition and the instructions for the assistant, and as well you define these functions and what the parameters for those functions are, right? So to give you an example, if somebody's asking for booking information, you have a parameter that's called booking ID, right? So then the assistant will know automatically, I need to go to this function, but I need to know the booking ID in order to get that information, and it's a required information. Similar, it will, as part of the, let's say, authentication system, we also ask we define the instructions so that the AI will as well ask you for your email address, just to confirm that the ID that you're using and the email address are the same person. Okay. And then, so that's how the functions run and how you define the functions. And then we have one additional um, data, like we said, the RAG, the retrieval augmented generation, which is a vectorized database where we embed data from other platforms. You can do that in an upload way, so you can go and just go to OpenAI, go to the vector database and upload the documents. So that's possible. But at the same time, if you want to have more control, or you want to have an automated way of uploading data to the RAG database, to the vector database, then you can also use Make for that. To give you an example, we have customers where they might have a SharePoint or they might have a Google Drive, and every time they put a document inside that folder, they want that data to be automatically uploaded towards their vector database, right? So then we have what we call make.com watchers or webhooks, and those platforms like Google Drive will notify automatically whenever there's a new file. Then we get that file and we upload it to the vector database. Again, we can embed data from around 2000 sources. If we
But
need to
that
convert the data,
TV, that would mean, so when like some Q&A document is changed, right, that would be automatically be considered. So the next guest, like asking that chatbot, that AI assistant next time, would then automatically have the updated, would make use of the updated information.
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. So to give you another example, you could even put into that database a history of emails, for example, right? Because you might want the AI to have access to like all the different emails that a customer might send, and all the communication that happened over email. You could also tag watch for new emails and upload that data towards the emails, towards the vector database. Um, a nice thing about Make is that you can also have this data converted, right? You have additional applications or module which are used to, like, you might have a data which is coming from an image recognition, and you might want to do an OCR on it, or you might have data that it's coming from a strange file, I don't know, an all doc file, or some data that the AI will not, the vector database will not understand automatically, right? Then you can convert the data with things like Zero Code Kit, Cloud Convert, and a lot of other tools. You can also use tools like, for if you have any invoicing automation and you're using a tool like Google Vision or Clipa or Awesome to manage all those invoice processing as well. You can process those information, get it inside Make, and then send it towards the vector database. And you can use OpenAI owns vector database, but you can also use some other vector databases like Pinecone, which is my preferred one as an example, because it supports as well a lot of metadata, and it provides more flexibility on the um, on the way you search then towards the database. So that's in very few words. I know that this is a lot of information. I know this is a bit technical. Um, I advise anybody who wants to really start doing a bit of AI assistance, go on YouTube, search for RAG, spend 1 hour understanding in details how really RAG works and what it is, because it's not very complicated. And then based on that, you can do your own system.
And
Just
I
to
also want to add, TB, that of course hoteliers can come back to you at any point in time, also after this webinar, to ask you questions how they could proceed their own AI journey on that. Correct?
Sure. And by the way, if somebody's interested in getting like the scenarios of what we're showing here with how we set this up, just message us and I'm happy to send over the an export of the scenarios that were used for
Mhm.
this implementation. And then just a few examples on the rack. So here we have some examples, like I said, Google Drive, watch files, and then upload it directly to OpenAI. We have another case here where we're looking for Firefly's AI. It's an application for meetings. Whenever you have like an online meeting, it provides the transcription and some key messages and key actions of that meeting. So then we're adding that information towards a vector database as well. And then if you do something more uh, complicated, we have a more complicated scenario where we're processing, converting those files that we get in this case in SharePoint, and we're uploading that data towards Pinecone. Don't get scared about the complexity of this scenario. It's not very complex. It just requires a bit more platforms to really achieve it. Okay, and then when we retrieve data from Pinecone, if we want to have a rack system that gets data from Pinecone, we have another scenario that's getting the request. It will convert that request into a vector format, search within Pinecone for it, and then reply back with that information to the assistant. And then based on that information, the AI will be able to take a decision and send the user a reply. So how does this really look like from a full setup? We have a voice flow setup. So we are using voice flow in this case as the chat on the website. So voice flow, it's a web chat, and it has some voice automation as well. So you can try that. It's a nice platform. I really enjoy it. Where you can set up these triggers when the conversation starts. So once the message sends a message, we capture that message. The message gets sent to this link to this webhook. And then from that webhook, it gets processed by the AI. You see that the AI is able to either trigger some function if it needs to, or reply back to the user. And then with that, the AI will get the user will get back a reply. The user we'll see the new reply, message again the assistant, and we have a loop of information for between the AI assistant and the customer. Okay, and now let me do a bit of a demo here. Give me just 1 second to share my screen. And there you go. Okay. So I just wanted to show first inside. Okay, maybe let me go first. So that's our hotel, right? So how does it work? We created here a mockup site. We have a chat system. When you load this page, you have a widget. The widget will it's powered by voice flow in our case, and it's powered by these scenarios from Make. It will ask me if I want to go directly to an agent, and that's what we really chose to show here. Or I would like to get information on the booking, right? So if somebody clicks, I want to get more information on the booking, it will ask me, let's see, actually, it should ask about the ID of the booking, right? So it's asking me automatically the ID of the booking. So then I have here an ID that I'm sending towards the AI. So let me show you a bit how this really is done, right? So we have the OpenAI uh, assistant. This assistant for that we created for Apaleo has some instruction, which is not very complicated. Of course, when you really build a very complicated and more advanced assistant, you will have a lot more details that you add into the instructions. But this is just a simplified model for this demo. Then we have a function. For example, we have get booking information. It's just a function that will get all the relevant information for a booking, and it says clearly I have a parameter called booking number, and that's the booking number for your hotel, and then that's a required parameter. So that's why the assistant will know whenever it wants to trigger this function to ask for that parameter.
TV,
And
that
then you
sounds
can imagine you can
that looks a bit like code, but if you open that again, this is actually only a few parameters, right? How do you enter this? Do you edit it there in this window, or is there some form where you actually can, provide all these data like object type or the
that's a
description? Mhm.
that's a great question. The way I recommend everybody to do this, and I didn't prepare that, but it's a great question. So you come here, you create a function, you have here some examples, and the examples from OpenAI is like get weather as an example. And the way I do it, you copy this code from here. I recommend to go to Chat GPT and tell Chat GPT, I am creating a OpenAI assistant. Please help me with um, creating a function for getting booking information based on this example. And with this, you wait a bit and it will write that for you automatically. And if we compare this to mine, it will be very similar, right? And here you see ChatGPT added a bit more things like a date. If you don't want to have that customer date or customer name as a parameter, you just delete that part of the code, and then you just keep the things that you need. But it's
And I mean, to understand what you're doing there is actually you connect now a bunch of ready-made systems together to achieve all that. One of them is Apaleo, right, which is your property management platform. Then you have make.com, which serves as a kind of middleware. And then from there, you connect different systems, for example, ChatGPT and the voice assistant to assemble all this in a kind of a drag and drop manner.
exactly. You are spot on. And then you can even use this interface here in the playground to test it if you want, or you just go directly to make and you set that up inside make. So then that's the setup here. Then we have the setup in voice flow, which is triggering that the make scenarios. And then once we jump into make, here we have a simple setup where we have a webhook, which is connected to OpenAI. In OpenAI, we just select the assistant that we built, and automatically the functions that we have set up will show up here, and then we define the sub scenarios that are managing these functions. So then if I go back to our demo, you see it will ask me, okay, thank you for providing your booking number. Could you also provide the email address? And I'm gonna provide as well the email address. If we look in the back of what happened here, because maybe that's a nice part to see, it just happened like a few minutes ago. Not this one. Let me go to the last one here. The AI triggered automatically this scenario based on this booking number that I provided. And it got all the details of that booking. This is just a test system, right? So we're just getting all these details. So we've already sent this all the details. So it knows already that that's the email address that I provided. So now it can confirm, hey, I'm that one. If I would like to have a more secure authentication system, to give an example, we could create a scenario where we send a code towards this email address, and then the AI will have a function to verify that code, and then the user will get the code on the email, and it will ask the customer, can you provide the authentication code that was just sent to your email? And then it will input the code, verify if the code is correct, and then you have a more strong authentication system.
Mhm.
And for that matter, you could use a code on WhatsApp, you could use a code on SMS, you could whichever system your preference towards using for your hotel. And then with that, I'm going back to the reservation, and then I've successfully retrieved the information related to your booking. How can I assist you further, right? So now, depending on how many functions you create for your hotel, the system could do it, right? So let's say we could have a function for, we already have one, send me the invoice. So then it will send the invoice automatically on my email. At the same time, you could create one. Can you help me change the dates of my reservation? Can you help me cancel my reservation? Can you help me create a new reservation or things like that? Modify my reservation, right? So based, because Apaleo, it's a API first company, all the different actions that you can do in your control panel, you can also do it by API. So what that really means, if we build those functions inside Make as scenarios, an AI powered by Make could do any of those actions itself. Does it make sense, Stefan?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm jumping back to my slides just to show a few more things here. So the same way you saw it on my demo, that we are connecting to a webhook, and that's the bottom right example here on the webhook system. You can connect it as well to any other chat system that has an API, like Slack, like WhatsApp, like Telegram. SMS as is a different example. Microsoft Teams could be a different example, and so on, right? You can build an authentication system if you consider it necessary. Give you an example. If you're using WhatsApp, you know for exactly that you're messaging the number of that user, right? So you don't need an authentication system. You know exactly if it's the same number as in the reservation, there's no need, right? If you're using a web interface, you need more of an authentication system in place. So by the flexibility of Make, we can connect these to any of the platforms. Okay. So one question I think towards our audience, and some examples, right, on where we believe AI could bring improvements, could bring a lot of benefits to hotel industry.
I mean, the thing is a bit like when you look at where AI is now, it's a bit like where mobile apps were in like 2009, 2010 or so. So there was suddenly an opportunity there, a platform to connect everybody at any place and develop applications to support that. And only over time, it actually all these innovations on mobile developed. And that's actually where we are with AI now. So nobody can really predict where this all will lead to in the next couple of months and years. And you can only get inspired, right? And if you look a bit what you could do, but of course, this is not at all limited to those cases. You could think of voice assistant and chat-based reservation management systems, like a chat-based booking engine for your hotel, something similar that TB was just demonstrating. You could think of AI-based revenue management, where an AI, an LLM is sitting there watching what happens to your hotel and then updating prices, opening and closing channels, setting restrictions. You might assess your guests. So we have clients in the US who actually do this, where when a reservation is coming in, there is an AI who assesses that guest and scores the guest based on all the relevant information it can get from the reservation, from public profiles, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so on, and then scores the guest to judge a bit, will this guest pay? Will this guest destroy my property being on site, and things like that. You could optimize. Yeah, please, Stevie, go ahead.
And it's just the starting of this, right? I mean, we already are a bit amazed on how much AI can do. At the same time, we do see some limitations. Sometimes they are hallucinating, and we do have some things like that, right? But it's just the start. If we got all this in the last few years, imagine how much it will change in the next few months and years.
Yeah. And the thing is now for you, you might think, how do I start? What is the right point to start? I would say to start small, start with your own AI experiments early so that you get a bit used to how these technologies works, how easy you actually can apply them to your own use cases. That must not necessarily be like use cases towards your guest. That can also be internal use cases within your own team, and just start playing around with that. And then you might identify what use cases can really create a really competitive advantage for your own business. Any questions on that so far from the audience? And thanks for listening all the time.
So I guess until we get all the questions, let me go very quickly around, okay, who is actually Make It Future? So we are an automation, a workflow automation company focused as well on AI. We started in 2019. We're around 26 people. We are located in Romania. Our main development team is in Romania. I'm located in Romania in Cluj. But we also have presence in Germany and France, but we're serving global markets. We have customers in Canada, we have customers in US, we have customers in Australia, Israel, and so on. We're working all over the globe, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Our main platform that we work with, as probably you can already know, is Make. We are a partner of Make, partner of Airtable and HubSpot. We work a lot with these platforms, and we help our customers automate their workflows, automate their processes, and improve their time spent on this, improve their quality, improve their KPIs, right? Um, some key customers for us that everybody might know, companies like Decathlon, companies like Billwork, companies like Celonis, who's actually the company of Make, and so on, right? Just a few names there, and Easy Hotel, which is there that we've been working for that, for an example, for a reconciliation process to verify all the bookings that they are doing for their hotels in combination with all the canceling they got from booking.com or things like that, right? So we were just comparing a lot of data with different sources of data that they had. So what we can do is we are providing digital consultancy, so we can help you determine and define your process, help you put a blueprint in place, and with AI and automation in mind. Then we do as well the development. We can help with this kind of AI chatbots, but we can also do automation of scenarios and process automation. And then if you have a platform that's not available on Make, some of you might go to Make uh, and start playing with Make and Apaleo. If you want to connect some information that's not already there for a platform that's not there, we also build those applications. If that SaaS platform has an API, we can connect to it and build an application for Make for that. If you want to start learning more about how to do an AI, how to do automations internally, or you have a team that wants to learn how to use no-code tools into this, we can help you with those trainings remotely or in class, depending on how you want to do it. And then if you build these kind of processes, we also um, have a support team that's watching over 200 organizations right now, where we are monitoring to make sure that the processes that were built for them are staying live and they are providing the benefit to the company. And thanks a lot. Thanks for the time that you allowed me here to speak to your audience. Again, we've been working for some year now with Apaleo for different customers, and we know it's a great great API platform to work with.
Thanks a lot, TB. I think, unfortunately, we already have reached the end of the webinar. So thanks all of you for joining us on that presentation. I hope you could get some inspirations maybe to start your own experiments on that, be it for internal usage within your team or also guest facing. We can only encourage you to start doing that. As you have seen, this is actually a combination of available tools on the market. that you can actually combine. You might need a bit of technical interest to do this, but you don't have to be a fully fledged software developer. So there's no real coding, for instance, involved in what we saw today. And you can actually start small with very simple examples. So thanks a lot for all of you for having joined the webinar here today.